Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Mind Map. Today's topic of discussion is the role of women in freedom struggle movement. First of all, we will discuss about the introduction of the topic. Then we will discuss about early 20th century participation, civil disobedience and non-cooperation, revolutionary activities, social reforms and advocacy, conclusion, and lastly, practice-based questions. First of all, moving on to the introduction of the topic. The role of women in freedom struggle movements across the world has been significant, though often underrepresented or overlooked in mainstream historical narratives. The history of Indian struggle would be incomplete without mentioning the contributions of women. The role of women in the Indian freedom struggle is both profound and significant. Women didn't merely play a supporting role, but were at the forefront of many movements and agitations. Women shouldered critical responsibilities in India's struggle for freedom. They held public meetings, organized picketing of shops selling foreign alcohol and articles, sold khadi, and actively participated in national movements. They bravely faced the baton of the police and went to jails. Now moving on to women's participation in early 20th century. Women's participation in India's freedom struggle began as early as in 1817. Bhima Bhai Holkar fought bravely against the British colonel Malcolm and defeated him in a guerrilla warfare. Many women including Rani Channamma of Kittur, Rani Begum Hazrat Mahal of Awadh fought against British East India Company in the 19th century, 30 years before the First War of Independence, 1857. Prominent women figures of early 20th century were Annie Besant, a British supporter of Indian nationalism. She was a significant part of the Home Rule movement and became the first woman president of the Indian National Congress in 1917. Sarojini Naidu. Known as the Nightingale of India, she played a vital role in the civil disobedience movement and was arrested along with Gandhiji and other leaders. Later, she became the first woman president of the Indian National Congress. Sucheta Kriplani, active participant in the Quit India movement, she also became India's first woman chief minister of Uttar Pradesh post-independence. Civil disobedience and non-cooperation. The women started their march on the road to liberty by breaking salt laws, forest laws, taking out Prabhat ferries, processions, picketing schools, colleges, legislative councils and clubs. Sarojini Naidu was specially nominated by Gandhiji to initiate raid upon the Rasana salt works in May 1930. During the movement, Kamala Devi addressed meetings, prepared salt and picketed foreign cloth and liquor shops. Nari Satyagraha Committee, Mahila Rashtriya Sangh and Ladies Picketing Board played an important role during that period. Prominent figure during the civil disobedience and non-cooperation, Kasturba Gandhi. Besides being Gandhi's spouse, she was a freedom fighter in her own right. She participated in civil disobedience and non-cooperation movements and faced arrest. Kamala Nehru actively participated in non-cooperation movement, boycotting foreign goods and promoting the use of khadi. Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, member of the Constituent Assembly, she was one of the prominent leaders in the Quit India movement. Now let's discuss about revolutionary activities. The organization of the revolutionaries was very active in Dhaka, Comilla and Chittagong, and young college girls came into its fold. The famous group of the women revolutionaries consisted of Samiti and Suniti, Beena Das, Kalpana Datta and Preeti Lata Wadedar. The prominent figures were Matangani Hazara, active part of Quit India movement and non-cooperation movement. She was shot dead during a procession. Durgabai Deshmukh participated in salt satyagraha and faced imprisonment. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐴 Kama, a prominent figure who unfurled the first version of the Indian national flag at the International Socialist Congress in 1907. Social reforms and advocacy. In the early 19th century, as a response to colonial encounter and imperial allegation of backwardness of the Indian society, women were converted from the object of oppression to the site of reform. Few major names of women who played a very significant role in the social reform movement are Pranzina Zorabji, Parvati Ayappan, Ramabai Ranade, Rakhmabai, Pandita Ramabai, Mataji Maharani Tapaswini, etc. The prominent figures were Vijayalakshmi Pandit, active in the civil rights movement, later became the first woman president of the United Nations General Assembly. Begum Rokeya advocated for Muslim women's education and wrote against gender discrimination and parda. Aruna Asaf Ali actively participated in Quit India movement and hoisted the Indian flag during the movement in Bombay. And Kalpana Datta Chittagong Armory Raid, member of the armed resistance group against British rule. Now lastly, moving on to the conclusion, women shouldered critical responsibilities in India's struggle for freedom. They held public meetings, organized picketing of shops selling foreign alcohol and articles, sold khadi and actively participated in national movements. They bravely faced the baton of the police and went to jails. Hundreds and thousands of Indian women dedicated their lives for obtaining freedom of their motherland. They were not just limited to one kind of role, but were involved in every facet of the struggle, from non-violent protest to armed resistance, from organizational roles to advocating for social reform. Now it's time for the practice questions. First of all, prelims-based question. Who wrote the book The High Caste Hindu Woman? Pandita Ramabai, Sarla Devi, Savitribai Phule or Binodini Das? And now mains question. Evaluate the role of Indian women in the Indian national movement. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.